Hey guys, let's get more news about Warriors, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Warriors Mike Dunleavy seen scouting intriguing 2024 NBA draft prospect in France. What happens this offseason for the Golden State Warriors will dictate both their immediate and long-term futures. General Manager Mike Dunleavy Jr. and his front office have their hands full with decisions to make about Klay Thompson, Chris Paul, Andrew Wiggins, and Jonathan Kuminga. Before doing anything with these players, the Warriors will be tasked with figuring out their plans for the 2024 NBA draft. Although many have called this year's draft weaker than those of the last few years, there are still a handful of intriguing names at the top of the draft board. One of those prospects that many teams are looking to get more information about is French forward Zachary Rizicher. Roughly 6 feet 10 inches on the wing, Rizicher is a crafty offensive-minded player who has a really strong feel for the game despite recently turning 19 years old. After the success Victor Wembanyama has had as the first overall pick out of France, many have been quick to label Rizicher as the next Frenchman to make a splash in the NBA. Rizicher, who many expect to be one of the first names off the board in June's draft, plays for JL Borg of the LNB Pro A. With Rizicher still playing his season in Europe, Dunleavy and some other members of the Warriors front office were in France recently to get a closer look at the draft prospect. The European club sent out a picture of Dunleavy watching Rizicher from the stands. In a total of 31 games with JL Borg this season, Rizicher has averaged 10.1 points and 3.9 rebounds per game while shooting 43.6% from the floor and 34.9% from three-point range. He registered 10 points and 8 rebounds in front of Dunleavy and the Warriors front office. Although the Warriors are scouting Rizicher, will they even have any chance to potentially snag one of the better players in this year's draft class? If the Warriors are to have any chance of landing Zachary Rizicher in this year's draft, they are going to have to get lucky with some ping-pong balls on May 12, when the NBA draft lottery takes place in Chicago, Illinois. The Detroit Pistons and Washington Wizards each hold a 14% chance of securing the top pick in this year's draft, as the Charlotte Hornets hold a 13.3% chance, followed by the Portland Trail Blazers at 13.2%. The Warriors, who were the best team during the regular season out of the 14 lottery teams this year, have just a 0.7% chance of securing the first pick in the draft. They have just a 3.4% chance of getting a pick inside the top 4. Whether or not the Warriors get one of their only ping-pong balls chosen is something that could shake up the entirety of the 2024 NBA draft because Golden State is not supposed to keep their pick this year. The Warriors initially traded their 2024 first-round pick with top 4 protections to the Memphis Grizzlies in their 2019 trade for Andre Iguodala. This pick was then dealt to the Boston Celtics in the Kristaps Porzingis-Marcus Smart 3-team trade, followed by being shipped to the Portland Trail Blazers in last summer's deal for Drew Holiday. The Trail Blazers own the rights to the Warriors' first-round selection this year, assuming Golden State doesn't get lucky and end up with one of the first 4 picks. Taylor details journey from walk-on reject to 49ers Super Bowl hero. John Taylor is bouncing about the ballroom floor while reliving his odyssey from college walk-on reject to San Francisco 49ers draft pick to snagging a Super Bowl winning catch. Taylor, at 62, now is gray but still looks as fit as during his days as a wide receiver. Though dressed in a suit and tie, he was inducted into the Bay Area Sports Hall of Fame this week. He's wrapping himself in the nostalgia of January 22, 1989, and the final moments of a comeback that gave the 49ers a 20-16 victory over the Cincinnati Bengals in Super Bowl 23. In the wake of a 40-yard field goal by Jim Breach, giving the Bengals a 16-13 lead with 3:44 remaining, San Francisco began its drive 92 yards away from the end zone. With quarterback Joe Montana completing 7 of 8 passes, the 49ers went 82 yards in a little more than 3 minutes to reach the Cincinnati 10 with 39 seconds left. After we got down there, we called timeout, Taylor tells NBC Sports Bay Area. We're all standing in the huddle like this, spreads his arms, and Joe comes back. He goes, "JT, we gotta run that play we put in." I said, "Okay." The play is X up. Taylor, San Francisco's ex-wide receiver, had not caught a pass all day and wasn't even targeted during the drive. The team's Z wideout, superstar Jerry Rice, had caught 11 passes, including 3 on the drive. Now it's time for the X-Man to shine. We saw when teams got in the red zone, the Bengals had a tendency to leave that middle open, Taylor says. So, the game plan was to flood the left side, make everybody come out, to the left, and just send one person back across, to the right. Taylor was that one person. The play designed by legendary head coach Bill Walsh was installed, Taylor says, 3 days before the game. The huddle breaks and the 49ers move up to the line of scrimmage. Taylor lines up on the left side, in tight end formation. He had one wish, and it was unwittingly granted by Bengals right defensive end Jason Buck. "So, I get up there and I'm like this, crouches, and I get down in my stance," Taylor says. "And it's almost like I said to myself, the defensive end, Buck, is almost head up on me. And I'm like this, crouches. I get down and I say to myself, damn, if he would just move a shade to my left." And it was like he heard me. He was down like this, crouches. Next steps for Orlando Magic: should they make a play for Klay Thompson? Despite losing to the Cleveland Cavaliers in the first round of the playoffs, the Orlando Magic should be very happy with their current situation. Orlando, which finished 47-35 during the regular season, is ahead of schedule, and its promising start to a rebuild means this rising team can take any number of routes this offseason. Orlando played with house money in the playoffs. To capture the 5th seed, win multiple playoff games against a good Cavaliers team and watch the franchise's young star, Paolo Banchero, have some of the greatest games of his career, well, that's terrific. Even better, the Magic have a clear road to becoming an even stronger team, shoot more accurately. In 2023-24, Orlando was 24th in three-point percentage and last in made threes. That the Magic were minutes from the second round of the playoffs while being one of the worst shooting teams in the league is an accomplishment in itself. Prioritizing three-point shooting in the offseason is crucial for Orlando to make the next leap, but there's no rush because Banchero is 21, and Franz Wagner and Jalen Suggs are 22. The Magic don't need to be a title contender next season, but they must continue growing at the pace they have and get improved play from core players. A good way to shore up your shooting problems is to add one of the best shooters of all time to your roster. There have been rumblings about Thompson and the Magic having a mutual interest in joining forces this summer, when the 4-time NBA champion will be an unrestricted free agent. Plus, a veteran presence in this young lineup would certainly reap its benefits. There's no reason for Orlando to panic this offseason, as things are going according to plan. The team's number 1 overall pick, Banchero, is on the cusp of becoming a superstar, and the other lottery picks flanking him are finding the roles they play best. Giving a big contract to Thompson would be fine, but there's no reason to force a move for the sake of making a move. A season similar to 2023-24 would be acceptable next season for a young Magic team that management has rebuilt flawlessly. This team, which has gone from 21-22 to 34-47 wins over the past 4 seasons, is already on the precipice of becoming something special. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Klay Thompson? Leave your opinion in the comments.